I don't know this part. I don't Well, I still got it growing up, and then up until shortly before a year before my mother, so that I retired. And this is over and this is New Hampshire, we moved over. You don't need any fun in the year. So that's like, so you want to get a little more. So Hebrew school was also conservative, but then it ran.
I'm always so in with that
No.
All right. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Go do the crazy thing of starting on time. Why not? No, at this moment I start, there's going to be like 10 people who walk in. That's fine. That's why I'm going to start now, so that to make that happen. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It's wonderful to have you all here for our last official Shabbat of this season. Granted, I am not going anywhere this summer, so I've been talking to a few people, and I think we're going to aim for an August 1st Shabbat. So we'll do a summer Shabbat. Anybody who's around is welcome to come. We'll probably be in here with air conditioning and a roof, and I never trust the summer for anything. People who have summer weddings outdoors are making decisions for themselves. So keep that on your mind, and I'll do more announcements later. All right. Before we start, I'm going to invite everyone to take a deep breath and maybe roll your shoulders a little bit. Just let your body and your breath be released. We spend like all week just with tension in our bodies, in our brains, in our lives, in our world. Shabbat is an opportunity to remind yourself that we actually have more control over how we are feeling than we normally think. We can will ourselves to let go of some of that tension. We can place our minds in a space for Shabbat, and we can say to ourselves, I'm going to leave the outside world outside for now. I'm going to be here, present in this moment with this community for at least about an hour. If you can make it a whole hour without thinking about all the things you have to do on your list, kol hakavod, you just meditated. It's great. I haven't made it to an hour in my life. So all we can do, right, is remind ourselves to stop, remind ourselves to breathe, let some of the tension go. And when something wiggles back into our minds, it's not a problem. Just take a moment, stop, breathe it out, and continue on. We're going to start with lighting our candles on page 120, if you're looking for the words. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. I even checked before closing it. May this be the hardest thing I do all evening. Let's turn to page 125 and we'll read together in the English. Where has this week vanished? Is it lost forever? Will I ever recover anything from it? The joy of life, the unexpected victory, the realized hope, the task accomplished? Will I ever be able to banish the memory of pain, the sting of defeat, the heaviness of boredom? On this day, let me keep for a while what must drift away. On this day, let me be free of the burdens that must return. On this day, Shabbat, abide. Help me to withdraw for a while from the flight of time. Contain the retreat of the hours and days from the grasp of frantic life. Let me learn to pause, if only for this day. Let me find peace on this day. Let me enter into a quiet world this day. On this day, Shabbat, abide. On page 128, we come to Hine Matov, how good and pleasant it is for all of us to dwell together. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. We turn to page 138 for Lecha Dodi. We will sing the chorus, the first, and then the final stanza, and I will invite you to rise as we get close to the final stanza to invite our Shabbat bride in from the doorway. It's a very Elijah-like situation. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor bezachor beribor echad, Hishmianu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad, Ushemo echad, L'shemo tiferet v'tila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala. Please rise. Penei Shabbat nekabela. Final stanza. Bo'vi v'shalom ateret bala, Gam v'simcha u'sohola, Toch emunei am segulam, Bo'vi kala. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. You may be seated. Let's turn to page 142 for Shalom Aleichem. I'll just say we have this really beautiful word for angels, malach or malache, and it's the same word for messengers, for human messengers, right? The original intention, right? The original kind of theology of angels in our tradition, in our text, in Genesis at least, really are like extensions of God. They are the messengers of God. They bring the message of the divine down to the earth. But the language really is not clearly separated, right? Angels in the book of Genesis in particular, they go between being angels and being God, right? All of a sudden, you'll be in a story, you think you're talking, oh my gosh, you just realized an angel, and then bam, Adonai is speaking right now, out of nowhere, out of this angel's mouth. You thought it was a separate thing, but it wasn't. We are all messengers, right? That is kind of our job here on earth, right? We figure out what it is that we need to bring forward into our world, and we figure out what we need to say, what we need to convey, how we need to engage with our world. And when we are doing that, right, when we are truly listening to ourselves and connecting with other people, if you read Martin Buber, you will realize that that is a moment where you are also transcending the separateness and the unity, where we are acting as angels, as messengers of God, but also we are acting as God ourselves. Whenever there is a connection between two living beings, that is the place where we feel God's presence so often. Buber calls it the I-thou relationship. And he has a lot of big words in German originally, so that's very difficult. The translations are so-so, but I think it's something that so many of us kind of realize on our own, right? When we have those moments of deep and almost instantaneous connection with people, we feel like there's something greater, that there's something deeper happening. So I just want to remind you that every day that you're operating in our world, we are operating as malachim, as angelic messengers that have been sent here by the divine to do something on this earth. Angels of the Bible had it much easier. They had very clear instructions. We are not getting those clear instructions. And that's part of life, is figuring out how to listen to the world around us so that we can reach our full potential and be the presence that we should and need to be here in our world. So as we're singing Shalom Aleichem and praising the angelic messengers, keep a little bit of that praise for yourselves, and let it drive you forward in this world to engage and to make those deep connections, even when we feel sometimes like we want to inch in, like we want to contract ourselves. That's the exact time where we need to push ourselves to be more open. So, page 142. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hashavet, Malachei Elyon, Mihi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boahem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu ni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Beautiful. Let's turn now to page 146, and I'll invite us to rise as we're able for the Baruch Hu. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam va'ed. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam va'ed. You may be seated. Page 149, we read the first reading in English together. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Page 150. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha avta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Al Kain Adonai Eloheinu b'shofenu uvkumenu nasiach bechukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha uvmitzvotecha leolam va'ed ki hem chayenu v'yorech yameinu Uvahem nege yomam belayla, nege yomam belayla. V'ahavatcha al tasir, mimenu leolamim. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Page 152. Shema, another reminder of just how little separation there really is when we are thinking in terms of divine. We see ourselves in this world as separate entities because if we didn't, I don't know how we could function. But I had a teacher who always said, when you can look out at the expanse and you see the unity of God before you see the separation of the trees, then you'll know that you are truly in a spiritual place. It is a challenge for us to read Adonai Echad as a real truth, as saying, not only do we believe in one ultimate deity, one ultimate God, but we believe in the connection between all living beings and the one project that we are all engaging with, which is taking care of our world, our community, and really seeing Adonai Echad, the oneness of our world. So I invite you to take a deep breath and close your eyes, and we'll sing Shema together. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha ubechol nafshecha ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה, אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Let's turn to page 157. Let's read the second reading in English together. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt, we were delivered. At Sinai, we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again, we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. Page 158. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osei feleh, nora tehilot osei feleh. Malchutecha ra'u banecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Zelianu v'yamru, Zelianu v'yamru, Adonai lo leolam va'ed, Adonai lo leolam va'ed. V'ne'emar ki pata Adonai et Yaakov, v'galo miyad chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. Page 161. Let's read the top in English together. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 162, we come to Vishamru, the prayer that reminds us if God can do this all in 6 days, we can certainly take a weekend off. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti leolam, oti leolam Vishamru b'nei Yisrael at HaShabbat Lasot et HaShabbat Ledorotam berit olam Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz v'shamru b'nei Yisrael at hashabbat lasot et hashabbat ledorotam berit olam ubayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat Lasot et HaShabbat Ledorotam berit olam. As we turn to page 164, we prepare for the Amidah, our time for our own private prayers. We're going to sing the opening meditation together, and then we'll pause for your prayer. Feel free to read the words that are in the book or the words that are on your heart. And when you're done with what you need to say, you may be seated. Once everybody is seated, we'll continue on. But for now, I invite you to rise as you're able. So we sing together on 164. Adonai tzepatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Yehiyu leratzon imrefi ve'yon libi lefanecha Adonai Suvi Adonai Tsuri Begoali Begoali. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. Words are hard. I find it so interesting that after Amidah, which really is kind of like the crux of the prayer service, Amidah is really like kind of the meat of it. That immediately after that, we have two prayers that ask us to help with our words. On the top of 180, Elohai Natsor is a prayer that you say only when you are praying Amidah by yourself. So when you're doing it as a community, you don't sing this. This is a personal prayer, asking for help, guiding my mouth and my tongue against Lashon Hara, against evil speech. And then the very next thing is, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable. Words are really hard. Sometimes they come out wrong. Sometimes you are saying words with one meaning and someone's hearing that same word with a different meaning, and you're really talking kind of across each other. And sometimes you just say stupid stuff. Like it just comes out of your mouth and you think to yourself, why on earth did I say that? Like, where did that even come from? Words can be really complicated. Our Torah portion this weekend is about words and how we hear them. Our Torah portion is Korach, not the Korach sandwich that you have on Passover, but Korach, who leads a rebellion against Moses and Aaron. And I want to read you the charges that he levies against the two brothers. Korach says, "You have gone too far. For all the community are holy, all of them, and the Lord is in their midst," which, by the way, is a quote from earlier when God says, "You are a holy people unto me. You are my people. I am within you." Right? These are God's words. Korach continues, "Why then do you raise yourselves above the Lord's congregation?" So Korach has assembled 250 men, leaders, who have all had a similar experience of Moses' leadership, where they have heard one thing, but they feel like Moses is enacting something different, like the words and the actions don't match. That somehow that Moses has put himself on a pedestal closer to the divine and above the community of people. Most leaders have fallen into this trap. Most people have fallen into this trap. If you are responsible for something, it makes sense that you are incredibly attentive to it, kind of think about it all the time, you're talking about it often, and it can very easily consume a huge portion of your life. And for Moses, like, come on, he's leading the people through a desert. There is no other part of his life. This is it. This is his whole deal. I mean, he has a family, but we don't hear that much about them, honestly, as the wandering continues on. Moses has had to be the mouthpiece of God to the community, which is a big responsibility. And it was because the community asked him to. They said they got to Sinai a few weeks ago, right? And they said, this is crazy. The mountain is trembling. There is lightning and thunder, and this is too much for us. Moses, you have to go. You talk to God. Tell us what God says. We cannot handle this, right? They asked Moses to even go farther in his level of responsibility and get closer to God because they can't, right? And yet here we are, again, just not long later, and there is a rebellion because Moses has taken on too much of the responsibility. If I was Moses, I don't think I'd react that great. I think I would be upset. Like, what do you want from me? What do you people want from me? I'm trying my hardest. I'm doing all this stuff. I'm sacrificing my personal life. You know, I truly can't imagine what more you can ask from me. Like, I can imagine a very angry response to this. But that's not what Moses does. When Moses heard this, he fell on his face. Then he gives Korach a challenge, basically saying, everybody come over in the morning and we'll have like a God off, like I'll fill my pan of offering, you'll fill your pan of offering, and we'll see which the divine fire consumes. Like that's, and it happens, and shocking, it gets Moses's stuff, and the earth might consume Korach and all of the rebellion people, like it happens every once in a while, just like big, earth situation. So it ends in a particular way, but what I find so powerful is Moses's reaction. Right? It's not anger. He doesn't lash out. He doesn't rationalize, right? He doesn't try and argue with them. He falls on his face, which is generally a motion of humbleness, of humility. Because he sees that he has actually failed somewhere in his leadership. Right? He hasn't been as clear as he needed to be. He hasn't supported the people in the way they needed. And even though Moses was doing everything that he could, there was still a problem. There was still a flaw. And he didn't take that as a personal insult. He just recognized the truth, figured out a plan B, and moved forwards. And from here on, you see Moses trying a little bit more to engage with the people as they continue their journey, to figure out, how can I make my words clear? How can I make God's words clear? Because clearly I missed something here. Humility is the core of good leadership. We are in a period of time I would not describe as good leadership. We are seeing a global resurgence of authoritarianism, which, to be honest, makes sense. Democracy is really hard. It's really hard. It is so much easier to believe that somebody is going to just take care of it all. That if I just put my backing with this one person or this one party or this one whatever, they'll take care of the big stuff for me and I can just live my life. Right? It's a lot easier than showing up for elections and keeping track of where all of the money is going and what your political people are saying versus what they're doing. Democracy is so hard. It requires a lot from individuals. Authoritarianism does not require that much. It's very attractive. But you don't find good leadership in authoritarian regimes. You find corruption. You find the opposite of humility. You find that power, what's the term? Absolute power corrupts. Power corrupts absolutely, and absolute power corrupts. Thank you. And it always does. It always does. You always get there. So what are we looking for? We're looking for new leadership. We're going to need new leadership in this world. And it's going to take time. But what is it that we need to be looking for in these leaders? Humility. People who are able to say, I don't know. I don't know the answer to your problem, but I'll work with you to try and figure it out. I don't know what the right legislation here is, but let's talk amongst multiple experts and people who are affected so we can find a plan. The power to say, I don't know the answer, is my number one trait when looking for good leadership. And it's something that I hold myself to as well. I try to be honest. We are human. We don't know everything. It's ridiculous to think so. And it's ridiculous to hold ourselves to that standard. It's a ridiculous standard. By the way, not even AI knows everything. There's all these AI things that are making stuff up for you. So they don't even know everything. How are we supposed to know this all? We're not. But there's something in our society that has told us it's not okay to not know. You must know all the answers. And therefore, we jump into situations that we haven't necessarily thought through, that we don't realize the unintended consequences of, that we don't even notice the people that it's hurting. Humility grounds us, and leaders need to have it. But it's not going to happen tomorrow. So in the meantime, how do we keep ourselves sane and somewhat stable while we're navigating a world of very difficult leadership and very dark times? I've developed a few guideposts that I'll share. Number one, look for diverse opinions and people who are willing to discuss them. Look for people who will sit down on the Joe Rogan podcast or Fox News or CNBC or whatever it is that is the opposite side. And notice, are they actually engaging with people? Is this someone who can try and bring a message to a community that you are not part of? That's a good thing. Don't fall into the trap of we are living in a time like no other. We are not. Our world has gone through so much horror and so much pain. It is not new. The reform movement in the mid-1800s declared that we are living in a time like no other in Germany in 1830s to 1850s. And they said, because we are living in a time like no other, we are going to declare we no longer want to return to our homeland, that Berlin is our Jerusalem and that Germany is our Israel. It's less than 100 years later to the Holocaust. This is not a time like no other. Which means that you can't fall into the idea that because this is a time like no other, we need to fight differently. We need to govern differently. Because I've been hearing a lot of this, that they're using the different playbook, that things have changed. We have to mirror what is happening on whichever other side you're looking at. It all leads to authoritarianism. Whether right or left, the more you allow yourself to be radical to an extreme, to say, I'm going to throw everything out, nothing is working, we're going to change everything. I don't think it's going to work out the way people want it to. Maybe they have more faith in humanity, but I think I'm right. So I don't think it's going to work out as some type of utopian revolutionary world. People have tried that before, and we still have not found a utopia here. Don't fall into the trap. Because things might feel good in the moment, but it leads down a path you don't want to walk. We are in the moment we are in today precisely because democracy does work. Precisely because democracy is an invitation for many different opinions to rise up, many different leaders to rise up, many different ideas to rise up, and sometimes ideas that we don't believe in win the battles. Doesn't mean that they win the war. It's a long, long life, and countries live a very long life. Just because you feel that you're losing a battle in this moment does not mean that we have lost the war. We have to keep supporting people who are engaged in democracy, people who still say, this is my preferred form of government. Even if you feel like it's broken, because it is, it's broken. Everything is broken. Every country in this world is broken. Every human being in this world, to some degree, is broken. It doesn't mean that we throw it all out. It doesn't mean that we cut off our friends because they're not perfect. It doesn't mean we turn away from a system that has become the fairest possible system because it's hard right now. We managed to get through hard times in this country. You don't need to look to 1930s Germany, really. Look at Jim Crow. We look at McCarthyism. By the way, something I did not learn that much about in school. I thought McCarthyism was like 5 years, decades in this country, decades that you could be blacklisted, swept up as a communist, jailed, deported. We made it through that. We'll make it through this again, precisely because I truly believe that this country and all of our citizens in the core care and believe in democracy. That we will find our way back through the pain, through the difficulty, and that the next chapter is going to be one that is actually moving us forward. I hope that I'll see that chapter. I truly believe that our younger students will see that chapter. And even if I don't, my goal is to create a world where that chapter can exist. And that means not giving in to feeling like we're failing, to feeling like there's nothing to do, to feeling like all we can do is hide ourselves. No. We show up together, whether it's through a protest or through a conversation, whether it's through getting through Thanksgiving next year with all of your diverse family members. Somehow we figure it out. We continue talking to each other. And I really do believe that the more we talk to each other, the more our country will talk to each other, and the more we will see each other for who we are. Beautiful, divine Malachim, each of us, an angel sent here to find our purpose and to connect with others, to create a world that feels closer and closer to what one day we might see as the Messianic age. But until that day, all we can do is hope and pray and then get out and do the work together. So as you go into summer, I encourage you to continue engaging with the world, taking some breaks for a nice beach day, of course, to not let yourself feel like all there is left is despair, and to not let yourselves get drawn into the feelings of extremism that are so easy to fall into, and feel good. Righteous anger feels good. But righteous anger is what Korach felt. Didn't lead to what he wanted at all. And it won't lead to what we want either. So for this summer, see what you can do, see who you can talk to, see how you can be part of this world, and find those moments in life that are beautiful and special that you want to treasure and hold, because those are still here. We have so much to be grateful for if we are able to open our eyes and to see ourselves and our community for what it truly is, a place of beauty and of possibility. So, Shabbat Shalom. Let's turn to page 586 for Aleinu. And I'll invite you to rise once you've gotten there. 586. Starting with the second Aleinu paragraph. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gerula liotzer reshit, shelo asanu k'griyei ha'aratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishbechot ha'adama, shelo sam chalkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim, Lifnei Melech Malchei Hamlachim Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Top of 588. Shechunotei Shamayim Veyosei Haaretz Umoshav Yekaro Hashamayim Ima'om Ushchinatu Zo Begovei Meromim Hu Eloheinu Einod Emet Malkeinu Efesulato Kakatu Betovato V'yatata Hayom Hashevota Elevavecha Ki Adonai Hu HaElohim B'Shamayim Mima'al V'al Haaretz Mitachat Einod, Milah 591. V'ne'emar, v'haya Adonai, v'melech al kol ha'aretz. V'yom hahu, yihya Adonai echad. Ushemo echad. You may be seated. As we turn to page 598 and prepare for the mourner's Kaddish, we think of all of those who have died recently or in this time in previous years. In our community, we are thinking of Murray Bernstein, Abraham Schneider, Mendel Wax, Robert K. Dudkin, Edwin Mendelson, Cecile Gitz, Violet Friedman, Israel Miller, Robert F. Yaffe, Stanley Fine, Irene Schenker, Solomon Diliak, Ruth Perpel, Martin Diesenhoff, Estelle Freeman, Mildred Ruth Rosenzweig, Ethel Greenberg, Daniel Gitz, Sherry Califf, George Herrick, Bertha Diliak, Sarah Glassman, Marian Alvis Chesler, Mildred Geller, Joanne Smollins, Norman H. Wax, Elise G. Frank, Mark Ben Ezra, Herbert P. Malos, Pearl Hurwitz, Melvin Emelock, Irene Glazer, David Levine, Sam Groden, Bennett Kilville, Harry Diamond. If you're in a period of mourning or observing a yard site, I invite you to say those names out loud or in your heart. Go around the room. We think of all of those who have died in disasters, both natural and man-made. We think of all of those who have died in Israel and in Gaza and in Syria and Iran. We think of all of those who have died in the Shoah. We think of all of those who have no one left to say Kaddish for them. I invite you to rise as you're able. We say Mourner's Kaddish together. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah v'alma divrach yirteh v'yamlech malchuteh v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael v'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam omei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitchoman v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudsha berechu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran v'yalma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mamav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May peace be sent to all who mourn, comfort to all who are bereaved. May be seated. You're not a model. Yeah, welcome to come on up with all of the announcements. Yeah. There's the jazz.
Yes, there's jazz tomorrow night. Hi, everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Serena Brown, former president of TBS, serving as your general counsel representative tonight. Thank you so much for coming. And we don't have a lot of announcements because it's the end of June. This is our last service of the season, as Rabbi Jessica mentioned. So stay tuned by email or other announcements via Facebook for summer get-togethers and services. I know there are some fun activities planned with Families for Young Children, as well as, of course, tomorrow night, the jazz concert here in memory of Irving Smolin. So sure to be a wonderful evening. So please come back tomorrow night if you're available. And, just also want to say a special thank you to those who joined us last Monday night at the kitchen to cook, including several people who are here tonight, and Gary. And it was really a great to have a group of folks from TBS come together at the kitchen, which is owned by Temple member Julie Unger, to make 100 meals for the food drive that went to the community freezer for those who are looking for a meal. And they can come any Sunday and pick up a meal. So we're going to do more of those. So stay tuned for that as well. So that's it for announcements. Shabbat shalom.
All right, for our final song, let's sing Osei Shalom. It can truly never be enough prayers for peace. So, Osei Shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Happy summer, everybody. And come on over. We'll do oneg. And I think we have quite a good spread. So thank you. Oh, thank you so much to the families, to the Goose family and to the Serena Brown family of just her. Okay, right now. Shabbat shalom. Gary, do you mind turning us off?
Yeah, I was just thinking.
Thank you.